Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It's currently 75 degrees outside. We have a high of 92 today, so be prepared for some warm weather again. Enjoy the summertime. Go out to the pool after work or go play some sports outside with your kids. Do something fun because it's not going to be miserably hot, but it is going to be warm. But make sure you're staying hydrated. Traffic conditions going into Tulsa are fair. There's really no traffic congestion at all. So if you haven't left or you're not commuting into Tulsa just yet, your commute into Tulsa is going to be A-OK. So no worries there. Now, as far as local events go, nothing's really changed on the calendar. So we're just going to jump right into national news topics. So with that being said, if you see the thumbnail, the U.S. is not a serious nation. That's the truth. I mean, look at the things we prioritize. I mean, again, we have the entirety of the what is this? Pride Month is a living proof of that. So, just look at what you've got to deal with. Look at that thumbnail. On the thumbnail, you have a guy wearing a dress taking a vanity photo in front of the White House. Look, and I get chicks and people going to the White House, they're going to take vanity photos, but look at the one next to it, the one on the right. That's a man who transitioned to be a woman taking a topless picture at a White House trans and gay event. Like, that's happening on the front lawn of the White House. Well-adjusted people don't do that. Well-adjusted societies don't stand for that. But, the Biden administration was like, oh boy, how wonderful is this? What culture we're bringing to the world. So, that's sad. It's pathetic. Things like that happening somewhere as, well, what used to be as prestigious as the White House would not have been tolerated. It's like, if you'd taken your top off at the White House, they would be like, we're going to need you to leave. Oh, yeah, is that the...
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead, play it.
Play
it. This... I mean, look at this. You have these trans and gay influencers going to the White House, doing men acting like women, doing girly. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you. Oh my goodness, how cool is this? We're getting vanity photos. They're doing PR for us, so we look good. And you have Putin up there meeting with world leaders. A comparison for how serious other nations take themselves and how unserious our current administration takes things. Now, it's not to say that there's not people in positions doing serious things, but this right here, what you're looking at, is a distraction to keep us, the everyday person, focused on silly stuff like this instead of worrying about what rights they're taking away from us, what legislation they're passing, where our tax dollars are going. That's what this is. It's all distraction. It's all PR. That's why whenever Democrats are in power, all they do is they focus on the cool stuff. They focus on the culture stuff. It's like, oh, Obama did this. Biden's doing this. It's like you see this stuff and they make it look like it's fun, it's culturally relevant, it's cool, so they can do all the seedy, dark things in the background. Wasting your taxpayer dollars on stuff that doesn't matter. Like the fact that we waste taxpayer dollars to make the White House rainbow color, with lights. Like that's your tax dollars powering the White House right there.
And then left-wingers always accuse of right-wingers of being sycophants. These millionaires and billionaires that you defend all the time don't care about you. These politicians are just literally using you for a PR stunt.
Mm-hmm.
LGBTQ people. You are literally just a political pawn to them.
Yeah. It's sickening, it's gross, and the fact that they don't realize that they're being used as political pawns. But that's the thing, though. They don't care because their advocacy is their goal. So if they go get to shake hands with the presidents, that just brings legitimacy to their cause. Even if their cause isn't legitimate or it's not even a good cause anymore. Again, what rights do gay people not have that everyone else has? Name it. You can still be a social pariah. There's nothing wrong with people thinking you're a social pariah in this country. Like, We've had this debate. You're allowed to be a racist in this country. It might not be a nice thing. You're allowed to be homophobic in this country. It's not a nice thing, but it's a thing that you're allowed to be because this is a free country. It's a free society. We are allowed to have those things.
Yeah. A free society that guarantees you the right to associate also grants you the freedom to disassociate with people, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And then you have the weaponization of, again, the DOJ and the FBI against people for political reasons. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, again, other countries doing serious things. And here is our current administration rainbow coloring the White House again, hosting pride events at the White House when time and effort could be put into more productive things. But again, this is to the left. This is the most important thing. This is their religion. The LGBTQ community and the trans ideology. It is their religion. It is their cult. If you defy the cult, you defy the religion, you are an apostate, and they will destroy you the same way they do in Islam, apostates. So, I mean, I guess that's why Islam and the LGBTQ and trans community do kind of mesh well together. Like, you say Islamists will be like, no, we don't. It's like, but their ideology is the same, or how they get rid of people who disagree with them is basically ends the same. They're all apostates. They all must be destroyed. Now, the LGBT community will destroy you reputational-wise. They'll make sure you can't get work. They'll make sure you starve. They'll make sure that you're a social pariah. But with Islam, it'll be more like, yeah, no, we're actually going to end you. So it's always funny to see these ideologies that basically use the same techniques or same, philosophies come into conflict with each other, because the gays will lose that one, because one is willing to really, really hurt people, and the other ones are just like, haha, go girl.
Not wrong.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's push on to what's another one of the...
We got this one right here.
We
had a bunch of people talking about how gay rights are, these people who are pro LGBTQ defending Palestine, and Palestine would not come to the defense of them.
Yeah.
So you're defending the wrong people.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and play this, and we'll talk about it on the tail end.
Seen the Queers for Palestine movement. It's a very common movement, but I don't see any Muslims for Queer movements. As a gay man, I would be punished and or put in prison or killed if I were openly gay in Palestine, because there is no Islamic country on earth that embraces me as a gay man.
So, okay, so maybe I'm confused, because Israel, which is still an Islam country, right?
No, Jewish.
Okay.
So Israel's Jewish, Palestinians are Islamic.
I don't know what the religions are in these countries. They find it unacceptable. They're interviewing Palestinians.
Do you understand why a father would want to kill his gay son?
Because it's not honor for him.
It's not for him. The price is death.
It'd be better if we killed all the gays.
It's the best thing to
Have
do.
you seen the Queers for Palestine movement? It's a very common.
So there you go. That's the pro-pride people that are pro-Palestine just have no clue. Like, they're so uninformed. They don't even know that in Palestine it's illegal to be gay. They don't know that they're thrown off of roofs and buildings. I actually sent a picture of celebrating Pride in Palestine, and there was a bunch of men being thrown off roofs. You didn't see the end result of them being thrown off roofs, but you did see them midair pictures being taken of them being tossed off roofs, and Instagram took that post down. So I mean, but they were real pictures. So I tried to send that one for Chad to show today, but Instagram took it down. They were not happy about those pictures.
I'm sure I could find it on Google search, but
yeah,
like any of the social media places, they get rid of that stuff real quick.
But you see with those Islamic guys talking that's real. Like, you can take my word that those pictures are real because that's what those are people that exist here in America. Like that's Ami Horowitz who is interviewing those people. That we'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, Ami Horowitz is he's a film guy and he goes around and he interviews people and that's what he does. But yeah, those people live here in the U.S. or probably London, those Muslim guys, and they're pretty clear about, it's like, hey, that's the price you pay for being gay, being executed. So it's not a tolerant religion. It's not a tolerant faith. Now, don't get me wrong. I think homosexuality is a sin, but I'm not going to kill them because that's not my place as a Christian to cast judgment. I can judge that it's wrong and what they're doing is sinful, but I'm not going to be the one that goes out and says, I'm God's wrath. I am the punisher. I am your redeemer. No, it's just my job to point out that's a sin, and the Bible is pretty clear about it, but you think you're special and different. You don't have to abide by the same rules that I do. So I understand it, and I have a nitpick about PragerU. I love PragerU. I love Dennis Prager. I love all that stuff, but I don't know what's going on with this. Like, they're just arms opening up to the gay community. Like, I know you can't just cast people aside, but it seems like they're very pro-gay now at PragerU, which is very strange, especially for a devout Orthodox Jew. Mm-hmm. But, I get what they're doing. They can't, when gay people have their awakening when it comes to this Islamic hatred of them, like, they're going to come running to the Christians, but you have to protect us. So I guess he's being the arms open guy, but, at the same time, I guess you can't make a better point than that, having a gay guy interviewing people who are pro-gay, but then him going, yeah, you're supporting the wrong people. But at the same time, it's just like, this is not the kind of precedent you want to set.
Well, it's the ultimate, gotcha. It's like
for the left, yeah.
It's for, whenever you have a black conservative go on an interview with a liberal, and then they start berating them for believing the thoughts they believe. It's the ultimate I gotcha. It's like, how dare you criticize me as a black
man.
voice?
Yeah.
You white liberal.
Yeah.
And it's the same with this. It's like, with these people, it's like they're gay and they're like, hey, Palestine, they would kill me if I was living there. And these people are like, no, they wouldn't. And it's like, yes, they would.
Yeah, so it's a gotcha, we weaponizing identity politics against the people who weaponize identity politics against us for years. Mm-hmm. Years. So I understand why they do it, but yeah, that should be eye-opening to anyone in the gay community that's pro-Palestine. It's like, and then we get comments, like, the ones that blow up are these Israel-Palestine ones, and the ones that blow up are so I don't know, especially the trans stuff, our stuff blows up, but we get people in the comments going, well, they can still be anti-gay, but we can be against killing children. It's like, yeah, but you're avoiding the argument, though. Like, we agree children dying is bad in Palestine. Like, we're not making that argument. We're saying the people you're supporting would kill you if they had the opportunity to do so. And that's where they go silent, because they just go, you don't know that. You're not from there. It's like, I don't have to be from there to know that. I can see the videos. I can see the footage that they put out. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway, let's push on to the next subject.
The next one I have is, we were talking about the other day, just all these trans and LGBTQ friendly YouTubers that are actively targeting kids,
children.
And there's another one that just popped up, and I'll play it real quick.
Yeah.
Friends, today we're going to talk about something super important, what it means to be transgender. It's a big word, but I promise that it's easy to understand. Ready to learn? The first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. Now think,
just like Dora
do you feel like a boy,
like
a girl, or a little bit of both? Do you have your answer? Great. Now I want you to imagine that everyone keeps telling you that you're something else, even though in your heart you know who you are. Wouldn't that make you sad inside? People who feel like this are transgender. And if you're not transgender, it's super easy to be friends with someone who is. Let's take our imaginary friend Theo, for example. One day you notice that Theo starts wearing girl clothes instead of boy clothes, and then they tell you that they want to be called Luna instead of Theo. This is so exciting for
No,
our friend
Theo.
Luna because they
I'm not
finally
gonna call
get
you
to
that.
be
I'm gonna
their
call you
true
Theo,
self.
not
And
Luna.
if you accidentally call Luna by their old name, make sure to say a big sorry and that you'll do better next time. As you can see, transgender people are just like you and me. They're our friends. Hi, friends. Today we're going to...
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah, absolutely targeting children. And again, it's like what we talked about yesterday. Do this for old folks.
Yeah.
Go to the old folks' home and do this. Go to the hospice and do this, please.
I need to figure out what YouTuber said that. But that was the best thing. Why don't you go do this for old people? Why is it always targeted towards children? Why is it children drag time story time, not old folk story time with the queens or some crap?
Yeah.
It's always marketed towards children because they are trying to groom children into this behavior, whether they think they are or not. They are making this okay, and this is what we talk about with the moral and cultural decay of society. This would not have been acceptable 10 years ago. If you told somebody that this was going to be a thing 10 years from now, they would have laughed at you.
Yeah. You're going to let transgender people in inappropriate attire go and read to kids in a public library? Are you high? Are you crazy? And now it's like, let them do that or you're a bigot. What's wrong with you? So oh my gosh, it is. But again, it's like, go do this for old folks, and then let the old folks be like, when did the circus roll into town?
No kidding. That's exactly what would happen.
And again, that's the dose of reality that these people need.
Yeah. And this is also the topic we talked about, cultural Marxism in the Frankfurt School, like bleeding in, and like with the whole Russian propaganda of they say you don't go after the guns first. You indoctrinate the youth first. You make the youth, anti-gun.
You make the youth anti-gun, and you make them anti-capitalism. You make them dependent on the state. If you convince them that their entitlements are more important than their rights and their freedoms, they will willingly sell themselves or throw themselves at the mercy of the government.
Which is why you see a lot of kids nowadays think that they have to have the government to survive. Like with the government, it's like when we were around when the government shutdowns happened. The world did not come to a crashing halt when the government shut down.
The government employees got a couple days off, and then they were somehow able to get their payback for those days that the government shut down.
And service members just basically didn't get paid for that little bit, too.
Yeah, 2 days that the government was shut down. It's like, well, they're not getting paid. Well, service members are only getting paid like $5 an hour anyway, so they're not missing out on much, Maybe if you're a 5-star general, you're missing out on some big pay, but I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's about it on that. It's just they are targeting children. This has nothing to do with them trying to, even though they claim it is, them trying to live normal and be normal and have normal lives. Like going and indoctrinating kids is not normal.
Yeah, well,
there's no
straight
classes at school. Yeah. Just because straight has always been the norm throughout history doesn't mean that you go around teaching. Did you know that so and so is so straight he had like 5 wives or whatever?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense at all.
It's like, well, if it wasn't for, again, straight people, there would be no society. I mean, we cannot keep promoting this ridiculous ideology. We cannot keep promoting these lifestyles because we're already in population decline at the moment. We have to, and like I said, that's what they're doing. That's what the whole, if you're a believer in the what do you call it? Not the deep state, but the World Economic Forum people. They go, well, they're just importing the next voter base. They're importing the next generation because we're not reproducing enough to replace our numbers. So they're importing the next people to feed into the Social Security system.
Yeah, which, and a lot of people, this delves into not really conspiracy because it's true. It's like illegal immigrants are not going to understand the government, how the government system works of the United States. They're just going to go, oh, the government gives me stuff? Cool. And they're going to keep voting for that. They're not going to realize is how we were founded, the importance of living in a society that's anti-government, or not, at least not anti-government, like wary of the government.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, these people just give me money or, provide me housing or whatever. They go, I'm going to keep voting for the people that want to give me more.
Yeah, we need people who think critically about where the money comes from, how the money comes, and how they're going to delegate that money out and put it into
Understand
the
founding documents of our
yeah,
country.
understand
like, an
why we were
illegal
formed.
immigrant that rolls in here that does not take the tests or anything like that has no clue of the
Yeah,
founding
they're
governments or the policies or
They're
anything.
a criminal. If they're willing to break the rules once, why would they not be willing to break the rules again? It's like, oh, taxes. Well, I don't need to pay taxes. I'm not a citizen here, but I'll take my kid to the hospital and use the emergency system.
Yeah. But that's what they want. They don't want people who are informed of what each branch of government does. It's just like they understand. All they understand is follow the rules. That's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Being someone that just only understands the rules and how not to break them is literally what they want, not like why this rule is important.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, it's craziness. Craziness. But yeah, no, let's push on to our next subject. This is what we were talking about yesterday, this actual Kevin Poole video. So why don't you play this real quick?
You got it.
This will kind of recap what we were talking about yesterday.
We called it. Everybody saw it coming. Joe Biden is now offering up various forms of amnesty and pathways to citizenship for non-citizens as the country is being massively, well, just say invaded by millions of illegal immigrants. And the theory was that sometime before the election, Joe Biden was going to offer up some kind of path to citizenship for many of these people, and he is, which actually is leading to non-citizens and illegal immigrants being given voter registration forms. Surprise, surprise. Now, what does this turn into? I don't know. But I would look at this like, I would say this. What's going to happen is they're going to give work permits. They're going to be giving residency to illegal immigrants. And then accidentally, they'll claim, when they were filling out the paperwork, of course, you know, when you're getting your ID, you get a voter registration form. And we didn't realize it, but they signed up, registered, and then voted. And who's actually going to audit the election this November? Y'all called it. We called it. Everybody.
There you go. So we were talking about yesterday. 500,000 people will be given amnesty, and they're going to be given voter registration forms, and they will be allowed to vote. And then people will argue, only citizens are allowed to vote. Well, how do you explain that? I mean, how do you explain Biden giving amnesty and pathways to citizenship to 500,000 people who broke the law to get here?
Yeah. What was it? Texas had over 300,000 people registered to sign up as a non-registered voter or a non-ID holding voter.
Mm-hmm. So it's scary, man.
So that's why I think Texas is in play this year.
Yeah.
Not just from all the Californians moving there, but from the illegal immigrants that they're going to just take their votes and just make them go D.
Yep. I agree. Was there anything else or any other?
On that, just we've got the Juneteenth thing, if you wanted to bring that up. Then you had these couple
Nah, we'll
of
save
things
those ones for tomorrow then. Let's do the Juneteenth one. We'll just kind of give a differing perspective on Juneteenth, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right.
Celebrate Juneteenth. He said, fools, you've been free for 3 years from the Emancipation Proclamation. You've been free 2.5 years from the 13th Amendment. You've been free for 2 years and 2 months from Lee getting his ass whooped. You've been free a year and a month from Johnson getting finally his ass whooped and surrendering. And it's been a year and a month since your fellow black soldiers told you were free. Now you got to have a white boy tell you you're free? That is so embarrassing. I will never celebrate Juneteenth. I mean, you won't celebrate it all the hell you want. We'll never celebrate Juneteenth. Fools.
Yeah, but we even talked about that yesterday. Like, isn't it weird that you would celebrate the day that the last people were informed that slavery was over, instead of like the day the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, or the day that the Civil War ended officially, or whatever. They've chosen to do the last day, which the only thing that we could kind of come up reasonably that would be that case to be like, we're not free until we're all free type situation. But even then, you know, that's pretty low hanging fruit to go after.
Yeah, it's a holiday that, like, again, we just started celebrating this holiday, 3 years ago?
Yes.
And I say we, you know, it's like it's something that they did for publicity, for PR. This is moves the Whitehouse takes in order to look better to the public, in order to be like, again, but I mean, most people think, oh, we got another federally mandated holiday. Yay, now we get the day off. You know, it's like, now we're not productive anymore. So another day that this office, I mean, the office we work at was closed. The mass majority of federal offices were closed. Whenever we were at Phase 1, we weren't closed. We actually had they gave a little spiel about it while we were out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I mean, it's just another excuse to close businesses or big enough businesses who can afford that kind of closure. And then mom and pop shops have to stay open and do stuff. And then there was lots of TikToks and videos going around of black people complaining that white people had the day off too. It's like, oh, okay, what do you want? You want only, it's like a federal holiday, but only for one race? Like, we're never going to get over this racial or cultural divide if you keep spreading this kind of hate and this kind of vindictiveness about this. It's like, look, it happened over 100 years ago now. We have to get over this. We are better people now. We are stronger people now. We have to be a unified nation. We can't keep going back to this old racial divide nonsense. Nobody's out to get you anymore. And if they are, they don't have enough. What can they honestly do to you? I mean, the government can do stuff to you, but the government's not discriminating against people anymore. If your neighbor dislikes you, I mean, you guys can get into spats and arguments, but I mean, there's the laws on the books. If they hurt you, you take them to court. You have the same rights that they have in the court of law. And I guess you could argue that you live in a bigoted area and the judge would vote against you based on that, but I doubt it because the civil rights movements are so strong now. I mean, you just have to throw down a hate crime and basically you'll automatically win. It's the same thing as the Me Too movement anymore. It's like, oh, if you just accuse somebody of bad sexual behavior, he's guilty by default. Same goes if there's, a racial incident. It's like, well, just say he's racist and you win by default. I mean, occasionally you'll get those ones that don't make it through because they're so heavily scrutinized, like the Jussie Smollett incident. But those are pretty rare and far between. And I'd say there is it's like what I think Charlie Kirk said this, there's a huge racism demand, but a very small supply.
Yeah. It's why I wish we'd brought it up now that you actually brought this up, but there was another former Biden admin person that was running for, I don't know, Congress or something in his district, wherever he lives, and he is proven that he faked a hate hoax on Facebook.
Wow.
To make himself look good, to help him pop up in the points or whatever.
Yeah, because, again, you throw out the word hate crime, and you're automatically going to get love from everyone because nobody likes that stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm. You get an immediate boost in your polls, and the FBI immediately sends somebody down to investigate it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that we investigate
the Bubba Wallace noose in the NASCAR garage. It wasn't a noose. It was a handle for a garage door.
Yep. And the fact that these are taking away from actual crimes and murders, actual, sexual assaults, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We're taking away from that to investigate these hoax hate crimes or these other false narratives that are going around.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's craziness. It's madness. But yeah, that's about all we've got for you today. Just want to give you a little differing perspective on Juneteenth. You can be happy with a federally mandated holiday off, but there's still a lot of, for whatever reason, racial animosity towards it. I mean, the silliness between a black lady complaining about white people having the day off too, and then not celebrating it properly. I mean, how can anyone celebrate a holiday they didn't know existed 3 years ago?
Yeah. Don't know. It sounds to me it was more like a Texas Galveston thing than anything.
Yeah.
Nobody else even really knew who or what it was.
Yeah, just let it be a Texas Galveston thing, not a national thing. But it's whatever. Look, I didn't mind having the day off. It's fine. I probably didn't celebrate the holiday the way that they wanted me to, but I was still working, doing things around the house, getting lawns mowed. So
we did a show yesterday too.
Yeah, so we got a show done. But that's about what we got for you today. Just wanted to offer a differing opinion and perspective on that. From again, that was a black guy that was talking about that. So a differing perspective and opinion. So with that being said, this is the Twins with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. We are signing off. God bless you.
See you later, everybody.